Good afternoon, Chaps and Chapettes, and welcome to the Guitar Geeks podcast. Today, I have an absolutely wonderful guest in Joss Allen. Joss, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you. Sorry, that was like a burp vomit thing. I've just finished the sandwich and it was one of those things where I was like, but yeah, I'm all right.
Was it a good sandwich? What did you have?
I had chicken coleslaw. It was good. Chicken and coleslaw sandwich.
Before I had this, this is a little sandwich toasty hack for all you sandwich lovers out there. Toast 2 pieces of bread, bit of mayonnaise on each side. I know mayonnaise, you either love it or you hate it. Ham, cheese, salad, put it all together. Absolutely perfect.
Mayonnaise on the outside?
Not on the outside, obviously on the inside between.
Oh,
so it would get a bit messy.
Because when you said toasty, I thought you meant like you were toasting it, but with the mayonnaise on the outside.
Oh, that'd be weird.
That would be very strange. Very strange.
Yeah, I don't think that would make too much sense having it that way.
I'm going to try it now. I'm the man of no sense.
We'll see it on your Instagram at some point. And go,
exactly. Josh told me to make this mayonnaise outside sandwich.
he's a liar and a fiend.
Yeah.
So you've been up to recently, man. So people that don't know you, who are you? What are you doing?
My name is Joss Allen. I am a guitar player. At the moment, I just finished what was going to be an EP turned into an album. I keep looking at myself. It's hard when they got a little screen. I wonder if I can get rid of that little screen. It's annoying the crap out of me seeing myself. Yeah, I was doing an EP basically because I was speaking to Rabir and Rabir Massad and just kind of getting some ideas of what I wanted to put some traction and put some effort into and all that sort of stuff. And I came to the realization that after he had released his third album, that I had just as much material that I've kind of gotten rid of over the past, I don't know, 2 years, like albums worth of material because of demo stuff, whether it was doing like original songs for Instagram or original songs for some bits and pieces on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. I'd realized that I'd written an insane amount of music and then put it to the video, and then to conserve space on my laptop, just deleted the music, because the video's out now. So it's like, I don't have to think about the music anymore. But instead, realistically, I should have just compiled everything that I really liked and then released it as music. And now that's what I've decided to do. Like, 9 years into being a youth person, that I've decided to keep some of it to actually release music. So that's what I've been focusing on. I had these 1 minute, 1.5 minute, some 2 minute tracks or parts of tracks that I posted on Instagram and done some bits for YouTube. And then I just added to them. So I picked at the beginning it was like 3. And then I realized that there was more of the old stuff that I really liked that I wanted to completely re-record. So some of them are demo ideas for videos that were released years ago, but then I've re-recorded them with the stuff I have now, and then a bit more aptitude in production that I have now, and just re-recording them completely. And now I've got like a 10-track album that is done and dusted, that I'm just waiting on the art to be done, and then I'll be sticking that out.
When you was looking for any of the old sort of songs demos that you'd all put together, did you have ones where you're like, oh, I forgot I did that, and oh, that one was really good? Did you have anything that you come across that was surprising?
Yeah, sometimes I would look at it, I would listen to it back, and I mean, to be honest, the stuff that I had from a couple of years ago, the guitar playing was pretty much on point for what I am capable of doing. And some of the stuff I couldn't replay because I was like, shit, I must have been in some sort of mind frame where I was like, right, the guitar is everything. I mean, when you're playing 5 days a week, because a couple of years ago I was still doing videos for companies, so I was playing like, all day, 5 days a week for videos. So my playing was kind of on top form. So there were some bits and pieces that I was like, I can't do that, but I don't want to do that because my playing has changed and grown to be different sort of thing. But yeah, there was some things that I looked back on and was like, oh wow, that was really good. Or I was like, oh wow, I put that out and it's shit sort of thing.
Was that back when you was working with Andertons at the same time?
Yeah, the last thing, unfortunately, I lost my job due to COVID. But the last place I was working at was Guitar and Keyboard Centre, GAC, in Brighton.
Bought one of my first guitars there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was your experience?
It was great. I'd only been playing guitar literally like 6 months. I had this really like shitty Argos like £50 guitar, and I'd saved up some money, and I was like, all right, I'm going to buy a proper guitar. And I bought this ESP LTD.
Nice.
It's MH50, and I got it from GAC, and I remember it was absolutely brilliant. I wish I still had it.
It's always the same story, isn't it? It's always like, I wish I had my first guitar.
What was your first guitar?
I've been relatively lucky. My mum and dad have always been pretty much like, they were always on my side with music and guitars and stuff like that. So one of my first proper guitars, which I still have, which I don't play anymore because of its, say the longevity is no longer a thing with that guitar. It's like done and dusted sort of thing. It was my Gibson Les Paul Studio.
Ooh.
So I had like first guitars, but they are not, they're nothing to be spoken about because they were just same old that everybody that wants to start guitar starts off with. I had it was a box.
Encore Strat.
Exactly. It was a box with some strings and an amp in it and a guitar in it. And it was like, go and fill your boots. But my first proper guitar that I cut my teeth on was my Les Paul Studio.
It's not a bad guitar to start off with, to be fair.
Oh, mate, absolutely astonishing. I still remember the day. I used to live across the road from one of my best mates, and I was over his house, and we were playing Dragon Ball Z, and it was really weird. We were playing Dragon Ball Z on the PlayStation, but we were also stopping the music on the Dragon Ball Z song on the audio, so it was just the fighting noises but no music.
Yeah.
And we were listening to it was either Hatebreed or it was Chimera. Remember Chimera?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
yes.
And the song Power Trip.
Yes, I remember that.
We were listening to Chimera's Power Trip over the top of fighting Broly in Dragon Ball Z because we couldn't beat him. So we'd put on this heavy
power music.
Exactly. What we thought was super heavy at that point, obviously. Just put that on so that I could get pumped up while trying to defeat Broly in Dragon Ball Z. And we're just like, just like trying to do it. And then I got a phone call from my mum, and she was like, it was my birthday gift. And it wasn't my birthday, it was a couple of weeks afterwards. And she was like, there's something here for you. I went up home and big old Gibson box.
That was it. That was the end of the gaming.
That was the end of the gaming, yeah. But summers and summers and summers of, how long have I been playing? Like 15 years, 16 years, I think I've been playing now. For so many years, I said that I've been playing for like 11 years or something, no matter what year had changed, because I was like, I don't know how long I've been playing. So I'm
glad 11. I'm not the only one that does that, because when people say to me, how long have you been playing? I'm like, I've been saying about 15, 16 years now for probably like the last 4 years.
Exactly. So I remember saying that, but no, I think it must be about 15 years of me playing guitar. But it was incredible first guitar.
So when sort of, we're talking young Joss here, what was that first moment? And it sounds like a really dull question that everybody gets asked rather, but what is that moment where, I want to do that. I want to play that, be like Van Halen or whatever. Yeah.
I've said it. I've said it so many times. It's it's Metallica. Nothing else matters. That guitar solo is to me personally, I have to say that, otherwise I get people going, to me it is personally the greatest guitar solo of all time. It's not even cut. I mean, you listen to like my favorite thrash album of all time is Metallica and Justice for All, right? So
Yes.
yes, so that intro to that album, to the song Blackened, the intro with the reverse guitars and the melody and everything like that, when I listen to that, I get goosebumps every single time. But I must have been the south of France. I was in the south of France, and it was with my mum, my dad, and my sister. And I had a Walkman, the classic, just a CD player. And I bought a few singles along with me, and it was Limp Bizkit, and I was listening to that before Metallica. I was like Limp Bizkit, Korn,
The whole new metal era.
Yeah. I'm a '90s kid, so I was listening to music of my own fruition when I was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And that's like new metal sacred ground, right? So I was listening to all of that stuff, and I was listening to all of the new metal stuff. But the one difference was that I had the single of Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, and my first time listening to it was in the south of France, and I don't know why I didn't pre-listen to it or any other time. I just decided to take it with me and listen to it, and I was listening to it, and I was like, yeah, this is cool, I'm enjoying it and everything like that. And then the guitar solo happened, and I listened to that CD for the whole holiday. I was just like listening to that. I wasn't listening to Limp Bizkit, Korn, nothing. And that guitar solo still, even when I play it by myself today, is it's just E minor pentatonic, but it's like the greatest sounding guitar solo because of what you put into it. You know what I mean?
I think
unreal.
With me as well, and Justice for All, that album is just exceptional. And with you saying like with Nothing Else Matters solo, for me, the one that gives me the goosebumps is James's solo in To Live Is to Die. Just as that clean section ends and he comes with that guitar solo. Oh, music heaven. Absolute music heaven.
I mean, isn't it funny though? It's like James, and then that guitar solo you're just talking about is James. It's like in the Justice for All record, like Kurt is top form.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that is like it's
Dyer's
unbelievable.
Eve.
Yeah, like the guitar soloing is just absolutely amazing. Like it's melodic, it's passionate. The note choicing is great. He's throwing in actual modal harmony, which he has no clue, but he is. And it sounds absolutely amazing. But then I don't know if he just stopped practicing or he just resting on his laurels. But I don't know. It's just really weird to hear him play those guitar solos now. But still, even though he was on top form in that album and the album afterwards as well, James just cacks all over him in rhythm and lead choices.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Kids like Kirk Cameron, adults like Hetfield.
Yes, yeah, it changes. It definitely changes. So I was a kid and I was like, go Cameron, but then it's always when I was a kid, when I was listening to that Nothing Else Matters, until I watched the music video, it was Kirk playing that guitar solo in my head. Do you know what I mean? Because at that point of time, listening to new metal, I was like, there's a rhythm guitar player and there's a lead guitar player. If Metallica have got two guitar players, I know that Kurt's the lead player, so it must be Kurt playing solo.
Yeah.
And when I found out it was the singer, I was like, oh my God.
I'll be honest. When I was talking to Matt Riffmaster about a month or so ago, I was talking about the To Live Is to Die solo, and it's only about a month ago I realised that James actually did that solo and not Kirk. I didn't realise.
I mean, it's only guitar players that will care about that sort of thing, but it's incredible to find out sometimes for the first time anyway.
Absolutely. I think that's evident when I've seen your guitar playing, because my God, your guitar playing is just incredible. The sweeps and the chugs is nuts. I think you can see that Hetfield influence in a lot of your riff writing.
I don't even know. To be honest, I don't even know what happened. I think it was just excuse me. I think it was just thrash metal in general, because I don't listen to a lot of Metallica and I don't listen to a lot of James Hetfield play, but I think that when you, like, for example, when you hear, I don't know, like Josh Middleton from Silosis, when he plays, he's very vocal about his love of Metallica and his love of James Hetfield in the rhythm side of things. So you can see that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because my favorite music is thrash metal, I think because I've listened to so much, like listen to Testament, like my fucking God, like the riffs are unbelievable and the right hand action is unbelievable. Do you know
I
what I
don't
mean?
think most people don't really tend to consider like a Testament. You got Alex Skolnick, and you've also got like Gary Holt.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many players in. You know, because everybody thinks Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, and a lot of
Yeah.
the other bands kind of go underneath.
Well, it's I mean, as soon as you get the big four, then it's done and dusted. Really, I think. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? People just go, well, I'm just going to listen to those guys. But yeah, I tell you what, the truth is with Testament is that I've only just started listening to them the past couple of years, and it was I'll tell you what track it was. It was I was listening to a thrash playlist on Spotify, and I was like, this riff started playing. It was the album from Dark Roots of Earth, and Native Blood, the second track on Dark Roots of Earth, and it's like a 2012 release. It's not an old release, but the guitar tone, the actual riff itself, and then the vocals came in, and it wasn't like a do you know what I mean? Like the classic, like that's awful, but the classic like slight shout thrash vocal. It was low and bellowing, and I was
Grunt.
just like, who? Yeah, I was like, who the hell is this? And then the album came up, and it was Testament, and I felt awful about myself. I was like, I can't believe I haven't listened to Testament. And then for the past 2 years, it's just been like the riffs. Like the new record is, what's it called? The new album is called.
Be honest, I couldn't tell you for the life of me.
It's sick as well. It's called Titans of Creation, and the first title track, Children of the Next Level, is genuinely next level.
To be fair, if you hear an album title called Titans of Creation, you know it's got to be something good.
Yeah. And you're like, you should, as you said, Alex Skolnick and stuff, you should be able to trust these guys with the bearing of riffs.
Yes.
And that all the most recent Testament albums and the older ones do not disappoint. People need to. I'd say people need to listen to fucking Testament. It's Testament. People do listen to Testament. I just haven't been listening to Testament. And blown away by them. Absolutely, my everyday listen is Testament.
It's not a bad shout for an everyday listen. I'll be honest, I don't listen to them very much. They creep up on the daily mix every now and again when I'm listening to that, but not so much. Kind of bring it back to some gear, obviously, with a guitar gear podcast. So we've seen on your Instagram, we've seen a lot of viola, ESP, Fujian. What's you enjoying most at the moment?
The viola stuff, really. The guitars themselves are like home ground since 2018. But obviously because of demos and how else can I say? Because of demos and wanting to acquire other guitars, they kind of took a back of the bus situation. And I came to the conclusion that I was being stupid because those guitars were the ones that I play best on and I'm most inspired with. I mean, when you see that,
it's a gorgeous top. I love that top.
Absolutely crazy. It is like that is brutal. Like that is sickeningly brutal. And then you get, let's do this so I don't see if I don't fall over. Then you get
take everything with you.
Yeah. Then you get the homage to the 80s sort of shredder people,
Yeah.
And they pay homage to everything. And there's some so since 2018 I've been using the Volos and demos here and there on Guitar Bros, on my own thing and everything like that. I had them both when I was at Andertons as well. But they've become the 100% mains. So yeah, handmade in Japan, crazy quality, stainless steel frets, one-piece necks, one-piece bodies, one-piece top, just, like the pinnacle of creation, as it were.
And we all know that wood doesn't make a difference in guitar tone.
Yeah. Like that Luna, the thinner bodied one, is mahogany, right? You play that, and it's not a weighty piece because it's slightly what
Slightly
they do
thinner.
is, yeah, they like an SA series from
I was going to
Andertons.
say, it reminds me of an essay with sort of the shape of it.
Yeah, so they thinned it out, and with the maple as well. And I play my guitars in D standard with 11s on, so
Good tuning.
so I can get super heavy, chunky stuff, but I still have, some feeling when it comes to the shreddy stuff. But the both of them mahogany, and they've got different pickups, but both of them are mahogany. And I play one without me playing it, then play the other, and I'll be able to tell you exactly which one's which because they sound completely different. You know what I mean?
It's weird that like 3 of my guitars are older body and they all sound completely different. I mean, 2 of them have EMG 5766s in, and the other one has 81s, but they all sound so different with just older body maple necks, and they all just sound completely different. It's mad.
Yeah. It's good, and I've managed to accumulate all my information of playing guitars over the past
15, 16 years.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. 11 years. Yeah. Of and doing demos for 10 years now or something. I've been able to accumulate all this information of what I think is the best stuff for what I like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a mahogany body with no top. I don't like tops. I like tops. They're pretty, but I don't care for them. So I like a block color, one-piece mahogany body, and I like maple, but I like roasted maple necks, and I like stainless steel frets, and I like low output pickups.
Yeah.
So, and I like 24 frets, and I like 12-inch radius, and I don't like compound radius, and I like 25.5-inch scale length.
You find when you was working with Guitar Bros, Guitar and Keyboard Andertons, when you were subjected to doing so many demos, was that obviously giving you a lot more spectrum to try and find what you really did like?
That's exactly what I'm saying now. It's it was the perfect opportunity. It took me a long, long time, and I'm sure people for example, people like Pete came across what he loves super quickly. Whereas, it's taken me such a long time. But the crazy thing about my issue is that I'd been playing what was perfect for me for such a long time, but just not realizing it. Yeah. And then playing loads of other stuff and coming back to what was perfect, the Vola brand for me, then you realize you're like, oh, I'm better on this guitar, or I feel better on this guitar.
You feel at home. Yeah,
I just feel stronger. I feel more confident about what I can get away with playing on it and all that sort of stuff. And it was just good to finally be able to go, okay, if we want to do something later on down the line together, this is the brand that I want to do it with.
Yeah. Some people may know, this may not. You have your own signature pedal, don't you?
I do. Yes.
So how did that come? How did that spawn? What have you tried to base that on?
I'll grab it. So this is it here. And I what was it based on? To be honest, the first thing that we were the first thing was that they had got in contact. Ariel Posen. I need to make sure that I link this up correctly so I don't sound like a dumbass. So Ariel Posen, the guitar player for Brothers Landreth and now of Ariel Posen fame, got in contact with me when I was at Andertons, when he was doing videos with us as well. And he said, look, he was living in Ireland at the time as well. And the guys at Scitech, it's not how you pronounce it, but I'm English, so I don't speak Russian. So yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From Mother Russia.
Siltek, yeah. He said that the guys at Scitech were actually living in Ireland at that time. And Ariel was like, hey, I know these pedal builders. They're looking for some demonstrators. can I get you in contact? So I was like, yeah, of course. You know, me and Tom were all up for it. Sort of thing. So they got in contact with us, and they sent me all the pedals that I have. I basically have their full back catalogue from like a couple of years ago when we started doing pedal demos on Guitar Bros. And I was really blown away by them. And I opened the back up, and I was amazed at how beautifully clean and tidy the work was, because they do it all by hand in their shop, their home. Sort of. And, you know, it snowballed into them sending some other bits and pieces, and they were really happy with playing. And we just kind of got on talking, just because, you know, it's a husband and wife and kids family affair. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was really drawn and taken to that, because I don't have a family of my own in terms of, like, you know, a child and stuff like that. But I love my girlfriend a lot, and it just kind of made me think to myself, like, this is really lovely. It's not a faceless company that I don't know. Like, I know the guys that distribute Dunlop, but I don't know Dunlop. So when I get a pedal through, it's from my friends that do the distribution, not the company. I don't know it. But this was different. So I was really drawn to it. And after a couple of years, we actually started speaking of a fuzz pedal. And I was like, yeah, I love fuzz. I love fuzz. And they were like, you know, should we design a fuzz pedal together? And I was like, yeah, okay. This could be really fun. This could be really cool. But the problem is that I play thrash metal, you know what I mean? And I play metal and really heavy metal and 7-string metal and all that sort of stuff. I was like, what's the point in having a fuzz pedal with my name on it if I'm only going to use it every now and then? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I looked down at my pedal board, and the only thing on my pedal board was an Ibanez Tube Screamer going into the front of my amp. So I was like, well, I think I know what I should do if I have, you know, a pedal with my name on it. So the idea was to do a boost and, just an overdrive pedal in the front end of an amp. A low gain to mid gain overdrive pedal that I could push all my amps. And at that time, it was an Orange Rockaverb Mark III, which Tom now has. And then I took delivery of my Mesa Barbar Skill 30.
They are insane.
We will talk about those.
Oh yeah.
And I was using the Tube Screamer and everything like that. So I was like, it makes sense to have an overdrive pedal with my name on it, and they don't do any kind of transparent low gain overdrives side tech anyway. The one thing that I disliked, or still dislike, hence me not using it, about the Tube Screamer, which everybody loves anyway, is the mid-range push that a Tube Screamer has.
Yes.
Gives it a mid-range hump and a nasal quality. And I'm really sensitive to mid-range. If it's too much, like if I listen to a song on my headphones of a band or something, and the guitars, you know, everything drops and it's just the guitar playing sort of thing, I can tell how much, not by number. I'm not like beep, 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 5 mid-range. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but I can tell how much mid-range they're using, because there's just, I don't know. I'm really sensitive to the way the honkiness is on mid-range with amplifiers, and I hate it. So I tried the Earthquaker Devices plumes.
Yes.
Like the overdrive boost thing, like the one almost
it's a great pedal for the value of money.
Awesome pedal. And I saw Jeff Loomis was using it, and I said to the guys at SciTech, we agreed on an overdrive pedal instead of a fuzz. I said, can we not do it like a Tube Screamer, because I don't like the mid-range hum? And then he said, Andy said to me, well, what we can do is we can voice the main component, the sound generator of the pedal, to be like the plumes, because the plumes is super dynamic and open, instead of being really pushed mid forward. And I was like, yeah, that'd be perfect. So they sent me, I've got it in my pedal drawer thing. It's just a gray version of this, nothing on it, just gray. And I was able to open the back off, he gave me tweezers and a couple of different components. So he gave me one that was similar to the plumes pedals, dynamic thing, one that was like a tube screamer, and then a couple of others. And I got to literally try every single one, plug it in, try it, pull it out, plug it in. And after going between the super dynamic one, like the open one, and then the forward mid-range push one, I was like, it's a no-brainer. It has to be the dynamic one. Because even with high gain, I can lower the volume and the mid-range honkiness isn't there. It just sounds like the amp, but slightly.
You're still going to get that clarity and the dynamic feel coming through.
Exactly. And so we were settled on the overdrive. The boost side of things was, in my mind, was just because, for example, amps like the PV Invective that I have there. I've got the big 120 one, the 120 watt one, and I have the mini one. Yeah. And there's so much gain on those that you don't need the overdrive.
That amplifier, because I've seen obviously the demo that you did with Rabia when the Invective came out. That amp is, I don't think anywhere near a bright amount of people talk about it as it should, because for everything in one box, that amp is just incredible, absolutely incredible.
It's crazy. It is really crazy. I think a lot of people get turned off that it's built in China. I think that's one of the things about it. But I haven't had any issues. I mean, I'm not lugging them around and touring them, but I haven't had any issues with them as of yet. You know what I mean? And as you said, they're loaded full of shit, and it's like, if something's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong, but I haven't had any issues. But amps like that have got so much gain on them that they don't need an overdrive thing. But sometimes I like to tighten up the bottom end sort of thing on those amps. So I put the level on full, drive off, the classic Tube Screamer way of life. And then I have the boost if I just want to have something, because now I've created a super tight high gain amplifier. You know, my lead work is going to be a bit sketchy. I'm going to be a bit afraid to start pummeling into some shred stuff super tight. So I've got the boost for that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just a clean 100% 14 dB clean true bypass boost. And then you can choose which direction you have it in. So you can have the drive first, or you can have the boost first. And then there's 3 different voicings. And I got a bunch. He gave me this load of LEDs to try. So one of them's a red LED and one of them's an orange LED, and it just worked out like that. So that's me babbling on about my beautiful pedal.
Pedals, when I first started to play guitar, so I'm not fussed about pedals. Now I'm just like pedals.
I used to be wanting to get loads of pedals, but now, because I know what I like to play and what I know I play, is like, it's kind of delay, reverb, and overdrive. Do you know what I mean? For me, it's like I'm always on high gain. I'm never really playing clean. I have the overdrive to go in the front end of my Mesa bar, and then I've got the boost if I need something a little bit more, and then a bit of reverb and delay in the effects loop.
You're saying about with the PV and the tube screamers with that sort of that mid-range, like the nasal honk. Back when I was gigging, we was always supported and playing with a Metallica tribute band.
Cool.
And the guy that I knew that played guitar in that, he ran a JSX, a PV JSX.
Good amp.
And that amp was just had the best lead tone I've ever heard.
Good amp, yeah.
And I was saying, I was like, how are you getting that lead tone? And he went, all I'm doing is running a 10-band EQ through the effects loop, that's it. And I'm just pushing the mid-range. Best lead tone I've ever heard. Nothing has ever touched it since.
Fair enough.
And I never...
No, go on.
I never would have thought to put a 10-band EQ in the loop. I never would have thought of it.
I only found that out because I found out that Slash did it, and he did it for a volume boost.
A similar principle then, yeah.
Yeah, so like you can have the EQ completely flat on 0, and then you can just utilize the volume thing on the far right to boost the volume. As soon as you engage that, it just output stage goes up, you know.
A nice big punch in the chest.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right, so we touched on the Mesa barbers. let's talk about those, because
Yes.
they're an amp brand that I think not too many people really know of or have heard of. Relatively, I wouldn't say they're new to the market, but they are becoming a bit bigger with a bigger scope. Do you want to go ahead and talk about your love
Oh,
for tone
man.
with them? Or is it like
I mean,
talking about your firstborn child?
yeah, I don't know what happened. Fuck me, I've had everything. I've literally had almost every brand minus like Mesa Boogie. You know what I mean? Because I'm just not a fan. And I've tried all the high gain stuff. I've tried. I didn't know what I was searching for. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what the sound was, and I didn't know what it was supposed to sound like. What was going on in my head? That sound. And I was getting annoyed and I was getting complacent about the sound because I couldn't get it. And for such a long time, I thought it was the guitars, but it wasn't the guitars in the end. The closest amp that I've ever got to the sound that I always wanted was the Marshall Kerry King signature amplifier.
Yeah. Do you even still make them anymore?
No, they don't make them anymore, which is an absolute bum ache because
They're essentially a JCM 800, weren't they? But like with some heavy mods on.
Yeah, exactly. And it had KT88s in it. And I was like, this must be the reason. I was like, this must be. So I bought a 350 quid Marshall DSL 50, which is still, personally, unless you can afford an 800, the best Marshall amp you can get. The pre-China ones.
Yes.
And I put a KT88s in it, stuck a tube screamer in front of it. I was like, oh, it sounds awful. I was like, this is not what it is. So I don't know what the mods were to the Kerry King, but it made it the closest thing anyway, the closest thing to what I wanted, which was the Kerry King, the boost off and the gate off on that amp, but then putting an overdrive pedal in the front end. So that was like the close to it. But I never owned that amp, and I just played it every day while I was working on the shop floor at GAC, quiet times. Because at that point I couldn't afford anything like that. And I mean, Jesus, I couldn't afford it now. I know people are selling them, secondhand if you find them very expensive.
I'll be honest, I've never seen one secondhand. They are gold dust.
They are hen's teeth. I've seen a couple, but they're always far, far too expensive. And I think that's because as soon as Slayer stopped doing their thing and all that sort of stuff, people are just like, oh, I'm gonna take everyone for a ride, sort of thing. But that was the closest, and it was a bummer that I never was able to achieve it after that with anything else, and that kind of was just ingrained in my head. I was at NAMM, not last year, but the year before. I was at NAMM last year as well, but I wasn't on an amp hunt. But the year before, when I was there, I walked past the Mensa Barbars stand. It was glorious. It was great. Got to meet Pierangelo, unbelievably nice guy, incredibly humble and loving human. And Eric Steckel was playing on the Mensa Barbars stand. And he was ripping, like absolutely ripping. This thing sounds unbelievable. And I got to have a go, and it didn't sound anything like what Eric was doing. And I was like, oh, maybe it's like the feel thing and all that sort of stuff. So when I got home, I contacted Pierangelo and I said, look, I was blown away by your amp. I do this demo thing. Would you be up for sending an amplifier for us to do a demo? He was like, 100%, I'll get you out a Skill 30, the small one. It's not small, it's like it's called a Skill 30, but it's a 50 watt amp head at full wattage. So you can bring it down. It's got a power rating on the far right. And I plugged it in and I put my pedal in front of it, and I had the overdrive set to 5, everything at 12, brought the treble up to 6, presence to 6, power rating on full, depth was on like 6, so get a bit of bottom end coming through. I've got a Zilla Super Fat Boy 212 cab.
Cabs?
Pardon?
Great cabs.
Oh yeah, and the speakers, the super fat boy, is sunk slightly into the back of the amplifier, so it's a bit further back. Vintage 30 G12 in this thing.
Okay, not two V30s. I'll expect you to go for like two creambacks.
Yeah, so it's I said to him, I said I want percussive thrash metal, really tight rhythm, and he was like vintage 30 G12, so that's what we went. And that cab construction, and it's in my zebra finish, which is great. And I played, and I did not stop playing. I just played and played and played and played, and I wasn't doing any lead work, nothing. I was just playing riffs, just constant riffs. And I recorded like 2 songs, and I was just playing and playing. I was just riffing, and I didn't feel weak in my right hand. And I was just going and going and going, and I could feel it constantly, just go boom, 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 just punching me in the face. And I was just like, and I was like, I stopped, and I was like, this is it. I was like, 15 years, like we're like 9 years of like searching
and the Holy Grail,
the sound that the Kerry King had created. I was like, this is it. This is it. Then he sent me the M0 overdrive, which is the 100 watt version, basically.
Behemoth.
Yeah, exactly. And I played that, and I was just like, I was like, I can't believe this is a thing. I was like, it's there, it's done. It's like everyone who plays their amps differently will make them sound different, obviously. I was like, this is thrash metal personified. This is the exact sound that's on all of the stuff that I love to listen to. Like, I can make it sound like like Metallica. I can make it sound like Testament. I can make it sound like Havoc. I can make it sound like this. Do you know what I mean? And then it just goes, and then it goes beyond that as well. So after about a year, no, just under a year of me kind of hammering away at skill secretly while it was just in my room and in our studio playing and stuff like that, Pier Angelo was like, I genuinely love you, let's do something. I was like, sick, yeah. So I ended up joining the Mezbaba team maybe 4 months ago now, and I have a custom order M0 overdrive in snakeskin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be nice with the zebra cab.
Yeah. So I can go full cock rock.
Rock out with your cock out.
Exactly. Just be like, I've got a snakeskin Anaconda 100 watt M0 on top of the zebra cab. So it's going to be glorious. But that's M0, handmade, but point to point. So no circuit boards or anything. Point to point, custom made, custom order, handmade in Italy. Pier Angelo. They make their own transformers. It's
They're
glorious.
beefy.
Yeah, they're bright red like a Ferrari. Italian heritage.
The Passion.
Exactly. And not only that, he is the fucking nicest dude. He is the nicest guy. I've over the years I've had some issues with mental health, and he has been one of the strongest and rock solid dudes ever. Like, he is the guy. So not only does he make absolute impeccable amps, personally the best high gain amps out there, but he's a nice guy, and that's kind of, you're just like, you dickhead. Like, you're a nice guy and talented.
It's a shame that you also have people that will be a really fantastic guitar player, but they're a knob, or it's very rare that you come across people that are exquisitely talented and humble at the same time.
Yeah, like the main one for that for me has always been Jeff Loomis. He's like the nicest dude ever. Always has time to chat. We got to hang out a couple of times at NAMM, have a drink together and everything. And apart from that, he's like the scariest guitar player you ever seen.
It's obviously like meeting Rabia a couple of times. Rabia is just one of the nicest guys anybody could ever meet.
Oh no, he's a dickhead. Rabia literally lives 5 minutes away from me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear him when he's turning up his Krakens going, Rabia's shooting today.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just like, you bastard. So I just turn my shit up. Yeah, no, of course, he's, I mean, it's a given that 100% in this world, word travels fast. So you have to take your issues on the chin. If you've done something that isn't, necessarily the right thing, you have to tell people that it was your fault and that
Mm.
I am sorry for it. Because if you don't, in this world, especially the music world, especially the online music world,
Yeah, it's become so bad
it's a pot
now.
of just absolute, hate, destruction. And because you can hide behind it, there's no consequences. So
Mm.
the people that you hurt really hurt, and then you can just get on with your life. So having people around like Revere, who sit on the throne of UK demonstrational videos, but he's also a nice guy. And if I have an issue or a problem, or I just need some advice, I can just take a stroll down the road, and he's always there.
Have a
So it's
coffee.
a good thing. Yeah, so it's a good thing.
It's actually quite fitting talking with mental health. I think a lot of musicians at the moment have all suffered through the last year or so with mental health. It's been very difficult.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah,
you found that you've had any good coping mechanisms to help get you through any of these harder periods at the moment?
Well, did you see a video I did on endorsements and mental health?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, yeah. So that video was important to me because I had created, many not issues. I'd created many obstacles of my own doing. So, but I've been dealing with, I don't have depression. I don't have split personality disorder. I don't have anything that some of these people in the online community have, to those sort of extremes. But I've been dealing with mental health issues since I want to say, when do you do your GCSEs? What sort of age is that?
15, 16.
Yeah, so around about like 15, 16 is when it all started to kind of go a bit strange, sort of thing. But I've been dealing with those sort of issues for my whole life. So when COVID came around, it was like one of the main fear that I have is that, unfortunately, is the fear of dying of an illness. But I've had that since I was like a little kid, and it's always been, there is a name for it, but it's always been a massive, massive issue because cleanliness becomes an issue, and going near family members who may be unwell becomes an issue, or seeing my girlfriend who, she may have gone out for an evening, drank too much, come back, spewed, and then I can't go near her issue. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like,
Yes.
you're gonna kill me. So, and because of that stuff, as soon as the COVID came around, it was like, yeah, it was the end of existence to me. It was done and dusted, sort of thing. And it got really, really bad at the beginning, the whole COVID thing. And the coping, I didn't have any coping mechanisms, but for the past like year and a half, 2 years, I'm going to therapy. And only literally maybe half a year ago, after the 2 years, I got a diagnosis of what the issue was. And that was like the thing, like the
Yeah.
thing that helped, the big thing that helped. Having a diagnosis after that amount of time, being confused why I can't do certain things, and being confused as to why, my brain is doing certain things that I don't understand, is terrifying. It's unbelievably scary. I remember walking down. I remember walking across the seafront. I live right near the beach, the sea. And I was walking, and in my head, I wanted to turn left. I was like, I'm going to turn left today. I'm going to go up that road instead of go that way. And I didn't turn left, and I just kept on going straight. I got so angry and upset that I was just crying my eyes out like the whole way. And that was terrifying because I was like, I don't even know why I'm sad. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm sad about. And then when the whole thing about disassociation disorder was brought into a fact, and then I started doing these written tests and paper tests, and chart tests and all that sort of stuff. And when it was confirmed that it was disassociation, I was like, couldn't believe how happy I was, because I was like, it's not going to stop, but I can understand that if I want to eat this sandwich, but I don't have to get upset about not eating the sandwich. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
It's those, like you say, it's like those coping mechanisms and finding those ways to build around it.
yeah. And I think that with mental health, it is insanely important, because people die from the most basic form of a mental health disorder because nobody's either caring or nobody's listening, or they don't have the confidence to say something themselves.
Yeah.
And one of the main things personally is to be able to see the signs of somebody that's struggling, not physically, but, you know, mentally. And I was showing all the signs of someone that was in an insane amount of discomfort, but not physically, and not knowing why. So my girlfriend at the beginning, you know, helped me and was like, I had friends at work that were like, you know, this is an issue, man, like, go do this. Or my girlfriend was like, this is an issue, babe, go do this. So I did, and it was a good thing. So I would say is not so much as go speak to your friends or family, but go speak to a professional, go see someone that you don't know who is educated in the ways of trying to figure out what's wrong, you know?
Absolutely. I've funny you should say something like that, because I filmed last week a podcast session like this, but it's myself, which is really weird. But I purely wanted to do it to talk about a mental health perspective, because I've been off work since November now with mental health issues, and I didn't realize that for like a year, 2 years, I was just every day was just holding all this down, and you got to a point of where you just couldn't do it anymore. And then you look back in hindsight and you go, and if only I knew what I knew now, it would have made things so much easier back then. And it's actually amazing to see how many people out there can be supportive, and I think it's very important to not focus on the people out there that are out there to undermine you or to bring you down, and focus on the people, like you say, that are around you to support you.
It's amazing to see the returning, I say faces, you know, returning image icons on YouTube and Instagram. It's amazing to see the returning icons who have got nothing but good to say. And you get comments from people after I posted that video. I guess I didn't say that for the past year I've been in good spirits because of having a diagnosis, but, you know, I had people that I've never met before in my entire life commenting on my Instagram saying, look, I've been following you since GAC days. You know, if you ever need anyone to talk to, feel free to message me. And you're just like, I don't know you, but that's like, you know, thank you. Because
somebody cares at the end of the day.
Exactly. In what community could you have something like that? You know, it's really cool.
Absolutely. So we're it's about an hour or so we're going to kind of start to slowly bring this to a bit of a close, but I still got loads more that I want to talk.
I can condense everything. I like to talk, so I can condense.
Oh, I love talking, man, but it's, as long as you've got no time constraints, it's absolutely hunky-dory. So at the moment, what you said that you've got your pedal drawer, but what's on your pedal board at the moment? just the shove deck.
Exactly, just the shove deck. Nothing. I don't have a board. I wish I could bring the laptop and just show you my floor. There's nothing there. I literally, every time I play my amp, I switch it on, switch 2 notes on, pedal goes in the front, sits there turned on, and then that's it. I play.
Nice and simple.
Yeah, all reverb and delay comes from the 2 notes Capture X.
Yes.
Well, it was coming from the Capture X until I found out that if I'm recording my Mezubaba and it goes into the DAW because of the capture, so it goes from Mezubaba into the capture, into my interface, from my interface. Well, no, into the capture, from the capture into my DAW.
Yeah.
And then in Cubase, what I can do is I can, on the same guitar track, I can open up, for example, Neural DSP's Gojira plugin, and then I can turn the amp off and turn the cabs off, and then utilize all the effects that are on the plugin with my real amp.
Ah,
Yes. And I didn't know I could do that.
I didn't know I could do that.
No, literally. So I use because a couple like today I recorded something and posted it on YouTube before our conversation, and the clean sound on that is my Mensa Barber on clean going into the capture, which is going into my laptop, and then in Cubase on the same guitar track I've opened the Gojira plugin, turn the amp off, turn the cabs off, so it's no amp apart from mine going into that track. Yeah. And then I just used the reverb and delay and turned it onto the shimmer. And I was like, oh my God. So I was like,
I'm gonna have to try that out now.
Yeah, I can use everything. I can use the octave on the plugin. I can use it on my amp. I can use the phaser, the chorus, the reverb, the delay. Because the amp and the cabs are off, I'm using the amp and the cab on that track already from my analog kit.
Are you using, because I know the capture, I know the 2 notes torpedo stuff, all the different amp sims and cab sims that are on there. Are you using something that's the same as your Zilla, or is it the NOS V30? I think it is, or something like that.
No, I'm not. I'm using 412 stuff because as much as, for example, like Periphery used the Zilla 212 to record their most recent record, you know what I mean? But it's like, if I could have a 412 mic'd up going full pelt, that's how I would record. So on the capture, I bought a few recently. The one that I started off with was the free one that was on there, like the
Marshally one or whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I bought the Rev 412 closeback Vintage 30 and was like, holy shit, like you have to buy them because the bought ones are like 10 times better than the ones that come free. So I've got that one. I've got the 14 Beast closeback 412. I've got the Friedman vintage 412. And then my most recent purchase, which I really, really like because of the whole thrash type thing, which I recorded the entire album re-record guitars with, is the Mesa Boogie 412 oversized angled cap.
Yeah, I think I've got that one. I don't use it too much, but I have got that one in the.
Well, it's super bright, right? So I was like, it's super bright on its own. But when you pan the guitars left and right, so the whole album is a left guitar and a right guitar, full on extreme, and then one guitar going down the middle.
Yeah.
And then with all 3 of those guitars put together and the bass, it doesn't sound bright. It just sounds like super heavy.
Fat.
Exactly. So yeah, that Mesa cap with these guitars anyway. I've recorded the entire thing with this one.
That's the Seymour Duncans. Is it in that one?
No, this is the Montes.
The Montes.
Yeah. So I recorded the whole thing with this one because the Seymour Duncans were great. These ones were great, but they had a really, really kind of percussive single coil nature to the bridge sound in high gain setting. And I needed something a little bit more visceral, a little bit angrier.
Yeah. Girl inducing.
Yeah, exactly. Super low output PAFs on this, but the super low output side of things just is perfect for me because it makes me go attack the guitar really angrily with my right hand. So all the power is coming from me.
Yeah, I've noticed when you start to dig in, there's a lot of chug going on.
Yeah. My face changes.
It's the ultimate compliment when you're watching or listening to someone's material and someone just goes,
yeah, the gurn
face.
Exactly. Yeah, it is good.
Well, I was listening to your EP that you bought out last year. It was Home. When I was listening to your EP, some of the stuff in there, I really enjoyed some of the laid back stuff, and then I wasn't expecting, and all of a sudden it's like,
yeah.
And I was just like, oh, hello.
Yeah. Those EPs were really fun. Still trying to. It was one of those things where it was like trying to still figure out what I wanted to do for a full thing and be consistent from that point on. And that's when I got my Mesa Barber and then wrote 2 thrash songs. Was super pumped and was just like, this is it. Do you know what I mean? I need to focus. But yeah, those are good, but they're not my things to listen to.
If you was looking back at wee little Josh, young Josh, is there any advice that you'd kind of given yourself now that you've definitely learned over the years doing Guitar Bros? And
guitar wise, I would say just, I mean, I did what I would do now. I would say that if, you know, because of the players I listen to, if you want to be good, you have to practice, Joss. And like, if you don't, then you won't be any good, sort of thing. So I did do the guitar side of things. You know, I would say that to him, and I have done that. I practice a lot, and I did practice a lot. I would say, you know, a lot of people say, you know, like, you know, chill out, don't take it seriously. I would be like, no, take it seriously. To me, I'd be like, you know, practice as much as you can, be the best you possibly can be, so that when you pick up the instrument, you are of God hand to your peers. Do you know what I mean? I want to be the best. Do you know what I mean? I want to play guitar to enjoy every single aspect of it. And when I'm at a certain level of playing guitar, I can only assume, like, for example, when we're talking of Jeff Loomis, when he's playing Nevermore stuff, when he was playing in Nevermore, I bet you every bit of money he was just fucking standing on stage, not going, I'm the best, because no, if anyone did that, that would be fucking awful. I bet you, but he was I bet you it felt insane, not because of the playing in front of people, but being able to achieve that sort of
that level
of playing. It's got to be such an insane feeling. So I would say, you know, do what you did, but maybe more. But obviously give yourself time to grow and everything, but practice as much as you can, because, you know, if you become one of the best at your craft, you know, the possibilities are genuinely endless. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
With the YouTube stuff, then I would say chill out. Do you know what I mean? It's like, even, I don't know, even the best of the best of the best in this world can't please everyone. And at the beginning, that was a hard, you know, pill to swallow. I thought it was dog's bollocks, and then you've come to find out that, you know, 50% of the people that are watching you hate you for no reason. So I got a comment recently on YouTube, right? And he was like, he said to me, I really, really hated you when you were in Andertons. And he explained it perfectly. He said, I really, really hated you when you were in Andertons, and I don't know why. I just did. But now I've seen what you're really like. You've become one of my favorite YouTubers. And I was like, that is the exact reason why YouTube is a shit show. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I love doing it. I love showing gear to people. I love showing new products to people. It's one of my favorite things to do. That's why I do it, because I enjoy doing it. But the reason why people fail at it is because they don't have the capability of building a thick skin.
Yep, absolutely.
And if you can't build that thick skin, it's like it will be a struggle for your entire term of doing it. But it doesn't make it any easier when somebody actually has a hate for you, and then in their description says, I hate you. I don't know why I hate you. I just do. Now, yeah, it's like, it's a lose-lose situation. So I would say to myself, with the YouTube thing, just, you know, please do not take it personally. If you want to do it, then do it, but just enjoy the process. Don't listen to the people.
Did that make sort of compound on things then, when Guitar Bros started and it started to take off a lot more, then obviously it got hacked? And then was that just kind of like, do I really want to bother going through all this again, or should I just do what I enjoy?
No, it was 100%. Do I even bother? Because I had built me and Tom had spent 4 years of our lives doing that. So it was like, what is the point? And I decided to start my own one because Guitar Bros had gone and it had hacked and YouTube had taken it down. And I started to do my own one just because I wanted to do it every now and then, because I've been doing it for like 9 years. If I just stopped dead in my tracks there, it'd be like going cold turkey on something. It's like, it's not physically something that I could have done, is just stop doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
And I didn't want people to forget that I was still there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am still here. I am still here to, hopefully entertain you guys somehow with the skills that I've developed. And so that's why I did my channel. And then when we got the channel back, obviously the issue that we had was that YouTube had taken all of the hacked videos off, but destroyed all of our videos as well. So it was an empty channel.
Yeah.
So at that point, I had to think to myself, do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? So I spoke to everyone, and everyone was like, as in like, people that are close to me, and everyone was like, all your subscribers are still there. You'd be stupid not to. And so that's where we are now. I've renamed it to just my channel because Tom is one of the fortunate members of the public to be still in full-time work. So because he still has a job, I felt it would be wrong to keep bugging him to film with him.
Yeah.
So I said, I will take it if it's okay with you. And he was like, of course. So I took it, renamed it to my name, and that's where we are now. And I try and upload every other day.
It's hard, especially now. I think everybody that's got a laptop or that's got a guitar or an amp now just wants to boom straight to YouTube and to put out that content. But say, like, even take you as an example, someone that's had a relatively large following, especially over social media, Instagram, etc. It's even hard for yourself then to rebuild a fan base after losing it. Even if people do carry on, it just goes to show how hard it is now for people.
Yeah, like big time. So I've been re-uploading onto the channel this whole quarantine period, so maybe a year now, like for this whole year, and I've been re-uploading for this whole year, and I swear to you not, I swear, does that make any sense? I swear to God that only the past couple of weeks my stats have been starting to go up again. Because I think that people have realized, that all the people that follow have come to realize that it's not a hacked channel. It is actually me that's doing it, because I'm posting regular, I'm posting content, I'm doing this. It is my face right there. I'm speaking to these people.
It's that Russian pedal.
Exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is. So yeah, it's crazy how only the past couple of weeks it started to, actually everything is on the up again in terms of views, subscriptions, all that sort of stuff, and comments and everything like that. So it's
the whole game's
hard,
always changing, isn't it?
It's evolving constantly. It's evolving constantly. And I'm just, as you said, I am lucky that I have been able to, build something on GAC, Andertons, and Guitar Bros. And my Instagram is, relatively big. So it's nice that I have all of this stuff, because if I didn't, if I was starting again from zero, then I would have to think twice about doing it, for sure.
Yeah. So, like, if you was going to go back into sort of like full-time work and you couldn't do musician work, guitar work, where do you think you'd end? What would you end up doing, or what would you like to do?
Absolutely nothing. Like, the truth is, I wouldn't like to do any of it. I wouldn't like to do any of it. I would have to do it for the preservation of life. I wouldn't like to do any of it. I don't want to wear a suit. I don't want to work in a shopping market. I don't want to be on the phone. I don't want to sell clothes. I don't want to do any of that. I want to play guitar. And or I tell you what, like, the closest thing that I could do full-time work-wise that would actually be enjoyable would be working with cameras. So, like, either filming or editing for a company or something like that, that side of things. Because that's a relatively arty sort of thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'll do anything. Like I will literally do anything in terms of work right now, because for this whole year I've been searching for work as well as a full-time.
It's tough for everybody.
And it is insane how hard it is. It is insane how difficult it is just to get a normal job right. But you know, as I said, the short answer without babbling is I don't want to do any of it. I don't want to do any of it.
I think it's also extremely respectable, because I think obviously it came out, people saying, well, the government saying, you know, musicians, they should learn to retrain, you know. It's like, well, no, this is our careers, this is our livelihood. You know, we'll stick to our morals and eventually it'll become good again.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, what do you say to someone like me? Like, for example, for the past 9 years, I have been in 5 days a week work playing guitar for a living. So, I mean, and then all of a sudden, yeah, fair enough, I got let go because of COVID, and it is, you know, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have been let go from their jobs because of COVID as well, and I'm just, you know, one of them. But that whole thing is that, like, so now you want me to retrain at the age of 30, you want me to retrain, and something else is like, but retrain how as well? Where do you want me to go learn, considering everything is closed as well? It's like,
Costa.
And then exactly. And then I don't have any money, so I can't afford to retrain. It's like, but I'll do anything, to be honest. I'll just anything for some money at the moment to be able to continue to fund an existence is fine.
Awesome. So we'll finish on the regular segment of the podcast where I'll be asking everybody the same 3 questions.
Okay.
So the first one, I already have a feeling I got to know the answer to these, but
yes.
one guitar, 1 amp, 1 pedal on a desert island. What are you taking with you?
1 guitar, 1 amp, and 1 pedal.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the amp is the Mesa Barber M0 overdrive 100-watt head. Because
let's face it, you're not going to have any noise complaints.
Exactly. So why would I take a 50-watt? Do I get to have a cab, I assume, as well?
Yeah.
Cool.
Why not?
So I get to take a cab. Maybe a 412. The pedal obviously is the Sci-Tech or the Sci-Tech. Joss Allen's signature Freya overdrive and boost.
Available at your local retailer.
They've literally restocked them on the website, so get over there. Guitar. You know what? I'm gonna say wait till the end of the month, and then that will be my guitar.
I see. He's holding his cards close to the chest. I like it. Other question. What are you listening to on Spotify right now?
The last thing I listened to on Spotify was, I'll get Testament out of the way.
Danish Pete's backing tracks.
Yeah, exactly. Playing as fast as I possibly can over them. The last thing I listened to, which is literally under my last search for Testament, my last search was Humanity's Last Breath, and their new album, which is called, I don't know, it's Icelandic or Finnish or Danish. It's like Vald, and they are Vald. That album, Humanity's Last Breath.
Amazing. So, lastly, where can people find anything to do about you?
You can find me on Instagram, which is Joss_Allen_. Someone else is called Joss Allen, so I had to put loads of underscores. Or you can find me on YouTube. All you have to do for now and for the rest of time is just search my fucking name, Joss Allen. And it is no longer a brand name or anything. You just search Joss Allen and boom.
Yes, disclaimer, just my fucking name. It's not what to search on Google.
Exactly. So yeah, just my name, Joss Allen on YouTube. And
Thank you very much, Joss, for spending this last hour or so with me. I really appreciate it.
It was really fun. It's nice to chat about shit.
Yeah, it's good to de-stress.
For sure.
Awesome. So thank you everybody for tuning in to the episode of Guitar Geeks. And until the next time, we shall see you again very soon.